Well, let's talk about the Assassin's Creed movie. So they got a couple of other
I can take this one.
big actors involved. Jeremy Irons is come on board, and who else was it? The Brendan Gleeson, who also was in Edge of Tomorrow, Harry Potter, and the Goblet of Fire.
Mad-Eye Moody.
So.
I don't have a lot of hope for video
Right, because it's
games.
a video game moving into the silver screen, and we've seen how that works.
Well, and it doesn't matter how big your names are because Prince of Persia had Ben Kingsley. I'm sorry, Sir Ben Kingsley and Jake Gyllenhaal,
Right.
and it didn't do so hot.
It always seems to be this disconnect between the writers of the screenplay and the writers that make the game, and I don't know why they can't be combined together to make sure continuity's there in that. A scene in the movie would be something they might consider also in the game too.
Yeah.
Max Payne had Marky Mark, and it basically went through the original Max Payne game, but it still wasn't like tearing up the box office.
So I guess maybe do we need video games to move into the movie medium, because games themselves can be another form of that kind of visual entertainment.
One of the problems that video game movies have is that I don't think there's any way in a movie setting that you can get people's intensity the way that you can in a game. It's so immersive in a game when you're playing that person. Your adrenaline is running, your nerves are wrecked. I mean, you are physically affected by playing a game. With a movie, it's not so much. I mean, you might have a moment here or there, but you're not all wrapped up in that movie a lot of the time. So I think that's where there is a problem. And then having the movies try to recreate the game a lot of the times is a big problem because you, once again, can't get that same feeling. So if you have all these video game, fans who are going to see this movie and then they hate it.
Can't help but think of
and then you have people who don't play video games that go see these movies and they don't understand them.
Right.
So you kind of lose out a little bit on both.
It seems like a time investment too. If you're playing Final Fantasy VII and spoiler alert, Eris dies. How many hours had you racked up in that game?
Right.
Emotionally involved in that character. If that happens 25 minutes into a movie, I just met that character. Oh well. I don't think you have the
time. That's how I felt
time.
the first season of Game of Thrones. There were just so many people that were dying off so fast. I didn't have time to get invested in it.
Right.
And if you made a Final Fantasy movie, that's probably what would happen with that character. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's really hard to get people the same way that a video game does.
Yeah, I think there's that, 20, 30 hours playing that game and then she dies.
Movies are
you had a lot more time to get very
tops.
attached to. Right, exactly.
And you have to get everybody. I mean, you might be able to go the Marvel route and have a movie come out every year and try to explain more of the backstory, but people are going to...
I'm already there.
Marvel's
I'm tired of
sick
it.
of them.
Yeah, I'm sick of it.
They just get overplayed, and then people are done. And I don't want to see that happen if they happen to get a good video game movie out.
I mean, I know why they want to do it. I just don't know if it's necessary.
Well, Assassin's Creed wise, I think they've already released something. There was something called Assassin's Creed Lineage. I don't know if it was more like the Final Fantasy movie that came out where it was straight CGI, or it actually had real actors. But it seemed to be some low budget thing they'd attempted to do. I just think the biggest problem with Assassin's Creed is you're going to lose the mythology that's there, and as we've been saying, you get that from playing the game and playing the game.
This spans years, eras too.
And a lot of times it's just not that one game. Desmond was in multiple games, so you kept on living through that. And
he was multiple assassins, if I'm not mistaken. He was Altair and
Ezio. And was he also the one in Black Flag? I think maybe, but I mean, no, he wasn't.
I think he was already gone.
He was already gone. But true, like that for us, that was. 4 games.
Yeah, that was because Ezio had 3 himself, and the first one is still my favorite by far. Altair is my favorite assassin still.
Right.
But I don't know that I would be happy if they made a movie about him. The movie that they're making, it's not. Is it about one of the characters that we know?
I don't think so. I think they're kind of taking some liberties with this, talking about another
Might
assassin.
be smart though.
Yeah, it is. So don't pigeonhole yourself to the canon that's already established.
Don't
about
set
something
yourself
new.
up to fail with the video game fan base by messing up the mythology. Just add on to it. That seems to be a smarter route than some of these other games have taken. So I know the Resident Evil movies, while I enjoyed the first couple, they did kind of start to go off the rail. I mean, they were, if you hadn't played the game, they were all right. They had a pretty good mythology. They kind of followed it for a while, but they did it so fast, I think it got a little bit out of hand movie-wise, so they were just kind of throwing things in here and there. But the first couple, you know, they had the dogs. You could hear them humming in the movie, and I was like, oh, that brings back some memories. And, you know, when she has the fight with Nemesis, they bring Nemesis into the movie. I mean, he was pretty badass in the movie. I enjoyed seeing him that way. But for the entire series, it started to fall off for me a little bit. But I knew when going into it, video game movies are never the same as the video games themselves. So I don't know. This sounds like a smart idea if they're going to not try to go directly from a game.
Right.
And it does seem like they kind of put it in the games, because when you got into Black Flag and you got into to Rogue, it was the aspect that you were working for the game company.
That's true.
You were
That's
working
true.
for
They
Abstergo.
already have that built into their mythology.
Yeah, you could go and look at all those different emails, and they were already talking about the next games.
And they were talking. You could hack other people's computers, and they're working on a different lineage.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
So I mean, it's definitely there. That a possibility is
And
already
maybe that's
open
what they're
within the
gonna do.
mythology. That would be a smart idea.
Yeah.
That would be. I would almost be excited for that one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I am a Michael Fassbender fan, so he's going to be in there as a character called Callum Lynch, a man who discovers that his master assassin skills derive from his ancestor Aguilar, another master assassin.
So I wonder if he's going to play like a Desmond role and be in the Animus, or is he going to play the actual assassin? I'm sure he'll be the assassin.
Both, I think. I mean, he's an assassin, and maybe they'll have it work it to where
maybe he'll get some special effects makeup and just be a distant relative.
Maybe they'll go back in time, and because it does part of it does take place in the 15th century.
Ooh.
So it's not all modern day, which actually modern day would be a break away from the norm, because most of it is in ancient history. Well, not ancient history, but recent history.
Well, but like Desmond
15,
is
16.
in present day. That's why I'm like,
Okay.
well, is he going to be the guy that's
Sure, I got
in the
you.
Animus machine, or
Right.
is he going to be?
Not sure yet.
If you were saying he was the guy who figures out his lineage, he gets it from that. It does sound like he's going to be the Desmond character. But you said 15th century? That does put us in
15th century Spain.
That puts us in the Ezio timeline, because Ezio was during the Renaissance, but we're going to be in Spain, not in Florence.
Right.
So.
It'll be interesting. I'm a little excited about
We'll see.
it.
Hope we all, as we do with all these video game movies, we
That's
have
true.
high hopes.
That's true. That's
We've known to come to expect the worst, though, so we'll see what happens.
Right.
All right. Well, that about wraps up this episode of Around the Mic. I'd like to thank our guests for coming or showing up with us today. Thanks for watching.